Troubled Water Company warns of a 44% increase in your bills. We're going to read into this more from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Independent with the headline of a troubled water company warns of a 44% increase in their bills. 44%, guys. That's it's not ideal in any way, shape, or form. Guys, while you're here, before I give my initial thoughts, if you can, hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Now, we've talked on this channel, for those who aren't aware, we have talked in the past about the rise. About Thames Water desperately wanting to increase customers' water bills already, when we are already struggling with, I don't know, a cost of living crisis. And I'm sorry that the Thames Water, have put themselves into this deficit, but we should not have to. That's not our fault. They are a company that clearly have not managed their budget very well. They have clearly looked at the interests of their shareholders before anything else. They have left our water companies in the state that they are in because they are more concerned about filling their fat cat pockets with their shareholders with as much money as possible, rather than actually dealing with the well-beings and the faults of the customers that they are serving. This is what happens when you put it in the hands of private companies. This is the result that you get. This is once again an example of why you should not, in certain departments, you should not be letting the private sector run it. There are some cases in some places where private companies can actually benefit. In your water, this is definitely not one of them. And there is a reason why pretty much nearly every single country on this planet does not have private water, because they need water to live, just like we need water to live. And for a long time, a lot of taxpayer money, in my opinion, has been wasted on not just Thames Water, but many other water companies, because they're in the hands of private companies. This needs to stop. This needs to end, and it needs to be put back in public hands. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, this leaves us with the problem of these massive deficits. And yes, we can argue about how we deal with those deficits, of course. And yes, the debt should be, and you're absolutely right before you say anything. You're right, the debt should be left with those responsible. But it's not always as easy as that. It can be a lot more complicated, that is for sure. But would Ofwat approve of this 44% increase in bills? Well, let's have a read then, shall we? So a troubled water company has put forward a new plans to boost spending and investment in its network, but warned this could see customer bills surge by 44%. Not 5%, not 10%, not 15%. Not even 25%, guys. Nearly half of your bill. 44%. It's just absolutely insane. Thames Water, which is battling to survive amid a funding crisis, has proposed increased spending by £1.1 billion and revealed another potential £1.9 billion investment in its network as part of a new business plan to regulator Ofwat. The utility giant, Britain's biggest water firm with 16 million customers in London and Thames Valley region, said its new business plan for the 5 years to 2030 will see spending rise to £19.8 billion, with the extra being used for environmental projects. This increased spend would see bills rise largely in line with previous plans for a 40% rise over the next 5 years. But it added that the possible extra £1.9 billion investment would see average customers' bills increase by another £19 over 5 years, or around 44%. If Ofwat was to give their full plans the go-ahead, this would see customers' bills rise to £627 a year by 2030. £627. I remember when I was renting a long time ago, my water bill was very, very low. £627. Thames Water Chief Executive Chris Weston said, "Our business plan focused on customers' priorities." Do you really think so? Having a hard time believing that. As part of our usual ongoing discussion relating to the business plan, we've now updated it to deliver more projects that will benefit the environment. We will continue to discuss this with our regulators and stakeholders. Thames Water has had to rethink its business plan in a bid to starve off collapse as it crumbles under the weight of the £15 billion of debt. Its investors have refused to pump in the cash it needed to plug a funding gap, and reports suggest the government is working on plans to effectively nationalise the water giant. Just nationalise it. Nationalise it. Don't approve of this Ofwat. Do not approve of this of this bill. This will see the taxpayers foot the bill for its mammoth debts. No. 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 People have already suffered enough. Put it in the government's hands. They're clearly incapable. Do not approve of this. Thames Water originally wanted to raise customers' bills by 40% to fund an investment programme worth £18.7 billion under plans published in October, but the company said Ofwat had imposed regulations on the plan which make it uninvestable, with its shareholders pulling a £500 million emergency funding package that was due to be paid by the end of April. The company had £2.4 billion cash available as of February, enough of it to remain sovereign until next year. It is said to be in ongoing discussions with existing shareholders, including the University Superannuation Scheme, USS, China's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and the Canadian Pension Fund and the BT Pension Scheme. This is all nonsense. I'm sorry, this is all nonsense. This is a water company that's supposed to be providing us with water. Ofwat is due to give its initial decision on the proposed business plan known as PR24 on the 12th of June. Oh, we'll be watching very carefully, that's for sure. Thames Water is reportedly preparing to approach lenders to fund the 5-year spending plan, which means it could take out a new loan. As well as being saddled with huge debts, the company has also come under intense scrutiny after missing sewage spills and leakage targets. It has said the updated business plan comes after it discussed the original business plan extensively with regulators and key stakeholders, including the Department of Environmental, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, and the Environment Agency. DEFRA spokesperson has said that customers cannot expect to pay the price for Thames Water's poor performance, which is why Ofwat should use their full powers to protect customers and ensure value for money in their bills. As with all water company plans, this is not yet final, and Ofwat will now independently scrutinise this latest version to ensure it delivers to customers and meets the company's legal requirements and government targets. A Liberal Democrat Treasury spokeswoman Sarah Onley said Thames Water's plans would see it pour more money down the drain. Yes, it's exactly what it's going to do. She said it would be an absolute disgrace if customers are forced to foot the bill for Thames Water's shambolic failing. Absolutely. Ofwat cannot allow these bill hikes to go ahead. Liberal Democrats plan to table a bill in Parliament on Monday calling for Thames Water to be put into special administration, saying that this is the only way Thames Water can become a financially safe company which cares about the environment. And they don't care about the environment, guys. Let's be absolutely clear here. They are just as responsible for the sewages as other water companies around the country when it comes to the rivers and seas and whatnot being fully pumped to sewage. They are just as responsible, guys, and it is an absolute shambolic disgrace. The situation that these water companies are in. Oh, sorry. It's absolutely shambolic in every way, shape, or form. But these companies don't care. These are private companies, and this is why you cannot trust a private company to look after your water. Yeah, this is something that has to be in the state's hands. It has to be in the government's hands. It cannot be in the hands of private companies, because the bottom line is money. It is nothing to do with water or the environment or making things better for customers. They don't give a crap about any of that. All they care about is the bottom line, about improving their shareholders. That has always been the premise of private companies. That's the ideological sense of what any business wants, is to make money. That's the whole point. And they see this as a business. They don't see it as a service. They see it as a business. That's exactly what this is all about to them, which is why it has to be nationalised. All the water companies need to be nationalised, and they need to be left with the debts to pay them off. That's what needs to be done. That's what should be done, but whether it will be done is another question. But what do you guys think? What do you make of this? The very possibility of your water bills, if you're under Thames Water, of going up by 44%. If Ofwat approves of this. How insane, how mad, How disrespectful is that? Let me know your thoughts about this and more in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.